We will take roll call.
All right, I am seeing Pete and Alex and Craig and Faye and Heidi are all on, and I'm pretty sure that Dominique will be joining later.
Okay. I need a motion for someone to approve the agenda for the February 16th, 2022 meeting of the Sex Offender Residency Board. Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We need an approval of the minutes from the January 19th, 2022 meeting of the Sex Offender Residency Board. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain since I wasn't here.
Okay. All right. So we'll get down to our regular business. First on the agenda is the appeal of Andy Stewart requesting to move to 1237 St. Clair Street. Is Mr. Stewart present?
Heidi, I do not see him on here.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion either to deny the request or move him to a different part of the agenda?
I'd make a motion to put him to the bottom of the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next on the agenda is the appeal of Jason Hall requesting to move to 425 Fifth Street. Jason, you appeared before us in October, and we asked you to come back in 30 days. You came back in 30 days, and we again asked you to come back in 90 days. I think we just want to see if they're, where you were with your appeal of your case.
Yes, my attorney filed, not hearing me. My attorney filed a motion for an extension because she had multiple other cases that had to be in when her case, or when my case was due for its brief. I dropped off the paperwork at the city hall, and the motion for extension had been approved. So she has until the 10th of next month to file the brief, and then the court will take whatever amount of time it will take to answer. If I may make a correction, I am already living at 425 Fifth Street. This is just to extend permission to live here.
Well, no, not really. It appears that we approved you to stay there for another 90 days. I mean, at any point we could still change our minds.
Yes, I understand
Okay.
that. I said because you had said to move to 425 Fifth Street.
Sorry.
That's why I wanted to correct that and say it would be to stay here.
Okay. I apologize. We have two new board members. Would you like to hear the status of his offense and what he was convicted of? Yes?
I read it.
You read it?
Yeah.
Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I read it, but I'd like to hear his account of it.
Okay. So Jason, we're gonna just ask you to go ahead and tell us what you were convicted of. Again, please remember that we don't want you to list the victim by name or relationship. So if you could just give us a explanation of everything.
I was convicted of second-degree sexual assault of a minor. What had happened was I said my version of what happened was I rubbed her back. The complaint says I touched her breast. I'm appealing the conviction. The appeal started in 2017 and it is still ongoing. I was convicted in, I believe it was January of 2017.
And you served how many years in prison for that?
I served 5 years in prison.
And are you on any supervision at this moment?
Yes, I'm on 5 years extended supervision. I've been doing regular meetings with my PO agent, or parole agent, bi-weekly right now.
It is my understanding that you are not participating in treatment due to the appeal.
Because of the appeal, correct. Because if I were, that would basically undermine my appeal process.
When is this legal matter scheduled to be resolved?
Right now, there is no set schedule. Like I said, the next part of this is the filing of the brief, which must be done by March 10th, according to this latest statement, or this latest from the Court of Appeals motion. So I don't know.
Forgive me. I forget your title. Are you captain?
No, ma'am, I'm a lieutenant.
Okay. Could you confirm what he said is accurate in regards to the case?
Luckily, I had the criminal complaint still. I'd say that the allegation that was made was that he was in a position as a stepfather. The victim in this case was 13 years old. The allegation was that he felt under her left breast, both on her shirt and over her shirt. He also touched her buttocks, and he continued rubbing her for about 10 minutes. He had whispered in her ear, "I love you," and he did this apparently when she was sleeping, and when he realized she was awake, he then left the room.
And was it a one-time incident, or did it occur multiple times?
From what I'm seeing in the criminal complaint, it all occurred at one time.
Okay, thank you. All right. Does the board have any further questions?
Well, I'd like to dig into a little bit, Mr. Hull, about, are you remorseful about this? Are you rehabilitated? But I suppose you really can't answer those kinds of questions if you're appealing the case, correct?
That is, I regret even going into a room. I'll say that. It was a mistake. It was bad judgment even going into the room. I could say Sarah is on here. She was also at the house that morning. But that would be getting it more into the case. Yeah, I regret, just like I said, even going into that room that day. I should have just did my usual routine and woke up the kids that morning and went to bed, because I worked nights. Or worked nights then, and I still do work nights.
Okay.
And I'm assuming as part of probation or parole, you are not allowed contact with minors currently?
Correct.
If no one else has any further questions, we can see if Sarah, what she has to say on his behalf. Is the board okay with that? Okay. record, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is Sarah Hall, and I live at 225 West Morning Glory Drive.
What do you have to say?
That my dad is trying to turn his life around, and he's working really hard. He's just trying to make a fresh start.
Have you lived with him your entire life?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, during the weeks, 'cause I had school.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for her?
None here.
Would anybody care to entertain discussion before we ask for a vote?
I guess I would like to entertain discussion. My feeling is that we should extend again. And the reason being he was convicted. He has no treatment whatsoever. If his appeal is successful, that's fine. If it's not, I would feel uncomfortable having recommended for or approved, said yes to living at this address permanently.
Well, when he came before us back in October, I was against it for that main reason. He has not had any treatment. He cannot say, you know, whether he's remorseful. Other than today, he said he regrets that it happened, but he can't answer any of that because of not being able to receive treatment, because that would admit guilt. So I still stand pretty firmly about not approving him or extending him, but obviously we have the entire board here, so if somebody wants to make a motion or discuss further, we can do that.
I'll make a motion to have Mr. Hall come back to the May meeting.
The May meeting?
Yes, 90 days.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed. Okay, Mr. Hall, you're approved to address. You have to come back in May. You don't need to fill out another application for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, bye.
Okay. All right. It looks like next on the agenda is the appeal of Tammy Boniface requesting to move to 921 Harvey Street. Tammy, I see you're here, correct? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Again, we have two new board members joining us today. Tammy has appeared before the board on several occasions and has been approved to reside at all the locations that she had applied for. Would the board still like to hear her offense?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Tammy, if you could please explain what you were convicted of, arrested for and convicted. Please remember not to say the relationship of the victim and or their name.
I was accused, well, originally I was accused of human trafficking of a minor. I think there was 3 counts, but I think 2 were dismissed or was read in, so it ended up being.
Oh, Tammy, you're cutting out really bad. You'll need to repeat that you cut out.
Yeah, it's, I was convicted of human trafficking of minors in 2015.
Okay. And how did you come about gathering these victims?
Unfortunately, it was a relationship I was in. The male that I was dating is the one that was actually part of this, and I didn't know he was looking at females.
And how much, time did you get for that sentence?
I did 4 in and I got 5 out on paper.
And you successfully completed your paper?
No, I still have time on paper yet.
How much more time?
I got out in 2019, so 5 years from there. I think it's like 2.5 years, I think, left.
Okay. Have you ever been revoked during that time?
Have not.
Okay. All right, does the board have any questions about her case?
Tammy, do you have any current contact with the male that you were dating at the time that you were involved with this issue?
No, I do not. I have no contact with him. I don't know where he is. I have no word of where he is or anything. I have no association with him at all.
All right. Board, do you have any other questions? Lieutenant Bagoon, do you wanna, is her story accurate?
I apologize, I don't have that criminal complaint in front of me. Can you tell me originally when she appeared before the board?
She's been, November of 2018, February of 2019, and October of 2020.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my record's in front of me at this time to go back that far, I won't be able to.
Okay, nope, that's okay.
Attorney Mays, sorry, Heidi.
Nope, go ahead.
Are you able to confirm, why we're here for this case? How close is she to what facility?
Deanna has the details as far, my understanding is that the property was sold, and the new owner is no longer, authorizing her to stay there, and that's one of the criteria for, offenders to be, approved, is that they have to have landlord approval or consent to be staying in their property. So she's relocating because of the sale of the property.
So the property she's moving to, is that within the 1,500 feet of a school or a church or something?
Yes, it would be. That's why she would be in front of the board. I'm looking at the address to see which property or what restricted area it would be closest to.
Nicolay Elementary.
Yes, I'm looking at the map. It is in the restricted area. It is.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at, so what was the age of the victim again? Was it 17?
Yes,
Against it.
It is near the intersection, looks like, of Webster and University Ave.
Yeah, I'm just looking. So Brisk Park looks like it's about a block or two away. That would be the nearest restricted area that it would be close to.
Okay. So I'll just ask you, Tammy, why should we believe that you would never commit a sexual crime against a child again in the future?
Because the simple fact that I do have I realize all the pain and suffering it does cause to an individual, not only them, as to myself, mentally, physically, emotionally, on a person. It's hard and difficult to live with something like that as far as any victim or person.
All right. Does the board have any for this?
Yeah, I have some questions.
Go ahead.
Yes, Tammy, are you presently working?
Can you repeat that? My phone kind of cut out.
Yeah, I think, Pete, that's you cutting out.
Yeah, my phone was cutting out. I didn't hear what he had said.
I think the first part of his question is if you're working, but I didn't catch the last part of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I am working. I'm working at Boost.
Yeah, when working and, okay, just asking if you,
Yeah, his phone cut out again. I couldn't hear that last part.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, Craig, did you have a question?
I don't know my Robert's rules of order, but I like to ask the question, so, make a motion.
You wanna make a motion?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Before we make a motion, sometimes we like to have some discussion about how we're feeling, which route that we're going. Would you like to talk about that? Before you make a motion?
No, I read the things that I think I needed. Attend treatment while you were incarcerated, or on the outside?
Oh, wait,
yes,
Tammy, don't talk. Tammy, don't talk yet, please.
Oh, sorry.
If we're gonna talk about treatment, we have to ask Tammy if she wants to talk about that in open session or closed session. Tammy, what would you prefer?
It doesn't matter. It's all.
Okay, so go ahead, Craig. Now you can ask her questions about treatment.
I apologize, Tammy, I should have known better.
It's okay.
That's fine.
The kind of treatment that you received, you know?
They had me going through all different types of treatments, as far as one-on-one counseling. They had me in like a group type session. I don't remember the exact names of them.
That's okay. Thank you.
I guess before we make a motion or someone wants to make, I just want to say where I'm at. I mean, this offense happened back in 2015, and really Tammy hasn't been in any kind of trouble whatsoever since she's been out of custody. She's been before us 3 times, and it's been approved every time, you know, where she's living at. So at this moment, I personally don't have a problem approving her to stay where she's at, but I would entertain what the rest of the board feels.
I agree. She has been in trouble for a long time since the offense. And I'm ready to make a motion when you're ready.
Okay, what's your motion?
I don't know if I'm doing this wrong, but move to approve address specific.
Yep. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Did you get that, Rachel?
Yeah, we'll give the tie to Pete.
Okay. All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Tammy, you're good to reside at 921 Harvey Street. Or, you know, again, if you decide to move, you'll need to come back before us.
Most definitely. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the appeal of Andy Stewart. I still don't see Andy on here yet. Is that correct, Deanna?
Yes, he's not on here.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion? I'll make a motion to deny Andy Stewart to move to 1237 St. Clair Street. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
Hey,
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Craig, did you oppose?
I oppose.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's the end of our meeting. Lieutenant Bigoin, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything that the board would like to talk about or discuss?
I just want to apologize for my tardiness. I had a custody case that went over.
That's okay. We knew you were going to be a little late. It's fine.
I think that we should decide who is going to be our alternate and who's going to be our regular board member.
Do a coin flip.
Too bad we can't arm wrestle or something like that.
Right?
Okay.
What are you doing, drawing a name out of a hat?
She's grabbing a coin. We're gonna do a coin toss.
All right. Who's calling it?
Go ahead, Craig.
Heads.
It is heads. So your choice.
I'll be the regular member.
All right.
Right. Perfect. Welcome aboard to both of you.
Thank you.
For your contributions.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you comfortable? I mean, I know this meeting kind of went fast, but do you have any questions about how things went?
Yeah, it'll be, go ahead, Craig.
I was gonna say, to practice, I watched, January's meetings on YouTube, so.
Okay. Typically, we'll always ask them about, you know, what they were convicted of. And then we always make sure we don't talk about their name or their relationship. Anytime kind of treatment, whether it is sex offender, AODA issues, we always have to ask them if they want to be in private or public session. If they want to go in private session right now with Zoom, Deanna basically will remove everybody from the room, and it will just be that person and us on the phone call. Okay.
And there is still a distinction, even if it's the last person and it's only us, because then we stop recording. So that portion is not available on the recording. So even if it's just us, they still get that option, because otherwise it's going to get broadcast all over for any of the internet to access.
Yeah.
Is there a time frame for some meetings?
Is there what?
I'm trying to return to personal meetings.
No. Meaning like how many, like when they can come back?
Well, we could come back in person?
Yes, correct.
Oh.
And Deanna just puts them into a waiting room, and as soon as we're done with our questions, then we pull them back in.
Oh no, I think he's talking about coming into City Hall for a meeting. I know there's talk about modifying a couple of the conference rooms on the second floor so that we can start having in-person / Zoom meetings. So I don't know what the time frame is on that. Right now, our meeting conflicts most weeks with another meeting, so that's why we're still on just Zoom, because there's not a room available for us to record and do Zoom at the same time. So yeah, they just announced that the other day, that they're working to modify the 2 other conference rooms.
Okay.
And just curious, so when there is somebody who submits an appeal, what kind of notification goes out to the neighborhood, if any?
We do not send a notification out to the neighborhood. The only time there's any kind of notification that goes out, it's when the police department's notified of an offender, and then they just put it out on their Facebook. The police department, yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, the Chapter 980 violent sexual offenders, those are the offenders that, depending on the nature of their offense, sometimes it's to an extent that the police do notify, usually people within that block, but with the people who are coming here, unless they're both 980 and 948 offenses, then typically there wouldn't be a notice. A lot of sex offenders don't have notification to the neighbors that they're moving into the neighborhood. It's just the violent sex offenders that need to have that notice sent out.
The police department does publish our agenda on their website or on their Facebook after I publish it. I email them and let them know it's available, and then somebody from the police department puts it on their Facebook. So anybody who follows them on Facebook does see it if it pops up in their newsfeed.
And it's available on the city's website. So.
Yes.
Thanks for staying in here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I also wanted to mention, to Alex and Craig, are you familiar with the Family Watchdog website? That website, lists where all the current sex offenders are. So when you're looking at where their address is located, if you pull up that website, you'll be able to see if there are other sex offenders living in that area and what's surrounded by that area. Okay. All right. Any other questions or things that we can assist you guys with?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well then, our next meeting is scheduled for March 16th at 4 p.m. And then I would just need a motion for, to adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll see you guys all next month.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks.